When one looks at the night sky, it's easy to feel small and insignificant against the grandeur and marvel of the universe. Even though most of them are invisible to the naked eye, and the ones that are visible are often obscured by light pollution, there are at least 100 billion stars in the Milky Way, and some estimates push this number even further to 400 billion stars. Many of them are perfectly average main sequence stars just like our Sun, and considering the overwhelming number of stars in the galaxy, most of them probably have their own planets as well. Speaking of the galaxy, the Milky Way has a diameter of over 100,000 light years. This is a massive distance until we start comparing it to, literally any others. Our closest neighbouring galaxy, Andromeda, has a diameter over twice that of the Milky Way, and the largest known galaxy, IC 1101, has a 4 million light-year diameter and contains an estimated 100 trillion stars. Those are some incredible numbers, and to even attempt to imagine the scale of these galaxies we just mentioned is next to impossible. However, when we take into account the current limitations we have with our technology, which are considerable, then those numbers are really only the lower limit. Using our best knowledge of the starting conditions of the universe and the physical laws that govern the matter inside it, we can run computer simulations that estimate the number of galaxies that the universe should contain. When these simulations are run, the number that comes out is something like 2 trillion galaxies. Yeah, I'll give you a second to process that information. Actually, speaking about seconds, if we represent each galaxy with 1 second, then the total number of galaxies in the observable universe adds up to 63,420 years. Just as a quick reminder, this is only the number of galaxies in the observable universe. That is, the spherical region of the universe that we can see from Earth, because the electromagnetic radiation from these galaxies has had the time to reach us since the universe started expanding. So, how much bigger is the actual universe than the observable universe? Well, it's theoretically impossible for us to know, because we can never actually see beyond the observable universe, but that hasn't stopped us from trying. Some estimates have put the actual universe as 250 times larger than the observable universe. In other words, the universe has a diameter of at least 7 trillion light-years. What other mysteries might exist beyond this unobservable barrier? What anomalies of physics are waiting inside the black? There might be a Lovecraftian horror roaming in the space between the galaxies, or an alien civilization sending out messages that never receive a response. Who knows what's out there? Sadly, we can never know the answers to these questions, and they will remain forever out of our reach. Still, none of this knowledge helps to alleviate the quiet and solemn loneliness when we look at the night sky. We see the stars twinkling against the backdrop, celestial chess pieces in a game between order and entropy, and all we can do is helplessly watch the show. This necessarily prompts the question, what role do we have to play? Surely on a universal scale such as this, we're nothing more than ants on a rock, careening through the void without purpose or direction. However, I don't think this needs to be the cause for such despair that we often make it out to be. When the first human civilizations looked up at their night sky, seeing much the same constellations that we see today, they didn't become miserable at the sight of it. Rather, they left their messages on the earth and continued moving forwards. Our ancestors left their messages with handprints on the walls of a cave. Not much, it might seem, but those handprints are far more than just handprints. Between those drawings made from dirt and charcoal are hundreds of human lives. The first markers of people who knew that they existed, they were there, and who attempted to understand themselves and the strange world they found themselves in. A world in which danger was lurking around every corner, and a world that was full of disease and death. And yet, as if survival wasn't difficult enough, they still found the time to create art. They hunted, they toiled the land, it was difficult, and yet they still found the time to tell each other stories over the fire and pass down their ancient wisdom to their children. Some of these stories are still told today, tales about fantastic creatures, unicorns and dragons, gods and goddesses. They built great temples and pyramids and monoliths, and they left their messages on the face of the earth. But what would our messages be? Surely the circumstances have changed since the time of the early humans. What could our ancestors possibly know about the size and scale of the universe, 7 trillion light years in diameter? Would they not feel just as small and insignificant as we do now? Perhaps so, but I think we should do as they once did, and accept the wisdom that has been passed down from our ancestors. There's an idea in ancient Indian and Greek philosophy called eternal return, but perhaps the most popular discussion comes from Friedrich Nietzsche. Imagine, in your loneliest loneliness, a demon approaches. The demon informs you that your life, exactly the same as how you lived it, will occur over and over again for all eternity. Every moment, whether filled with happiness or suffering, will occur on repeat for all time. How would you react? Would you curse the demon, or would you bless it? The point of this thought experiment is that it's not enough to come to terms with our reality, but that we should fully embrace whatever life throws in our direction. We should live our lives such that, even if we did have to repeat them over and over again, we wouldn't change a thing. There's only a finite amount of time in a human life, and from the moment we're born into the world, that time is yours. Each new moment is more time that we didn't have before, and so each new moment is the opportunity to do something, to be creative, to promote the good, to use it however you like. If Nietzsche is correct, then we should live life as though we truly did love whatever fate will befall us. We might not have built pyramids or spaceships or anything like that, but the one thing we always have control over is our actions. Just like our ancestors who left their handprints on the walls of a cave, we should fashion our meaning from the fabric of our reality so that it will protect us from the night. In the end, whether there's any meaning to be found in the great out there or not, on this insignificant speck of dust that we call the Earth, you're here right now. You exist, congratulations! You're part of the universe that has woken up, and the price of admission is exactly one human lifetime. So what if the universe turns out to be completely absurd? So what if we never know what exists beyond the observable? This region of the universe that we share might be small and it might be insignificant, but it's ours, and nothing can take that away from us. So leave your message by living for yourself and not for others, and write the story of your days however you please. All we really have is each other, and even if there's no meaning up there, the greatest tragedy that could ever happen is when we fail to create any down here. The first messages were just handprints on the walls of a cave. What message will you leave? Thank you very much for watching, peace and love, and I'll see you in the next video.